Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am super excited because I am finally doing something that I've wanted to do for months. So a few months back, Kayla from Books and Lala posted a video called Reading Like an Aries, and I thought this was the most amazing idea ever because I am such an astrology hoe. Like, I love astrology. I check my horoscope weekly, daily, monthly. I have apps, and that's like half of who I follow on Twitter. I love it. So I thought, of course, I must do a video called Reading Like a Cancer. And since it is Cancer season, as I'm filming this, it is only fitting that I do this now. I was going to do this as soon as Cancer season started, but my birthday is like 3 days into Cancer season, 3 or 4 days in. I was born on June 25th. And I kind of just wanted to read whatever I wanted and not have my TBR chosen for me during my birthday week. And then I was going to start the week after my birthday, and then that didn't happen. So now we have about 10 days left of Cancer season, and I am going to start reading like a Cancer. So Kayla had done a lot of research for this video and was super helpful in that she posted a graphic for each sign that had the books that she had found were good for that sign. So the graphic she provided had 12 different books on it. 4 of these I had read prior. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, I gave 4 stars. I read that this year. I really liked it. The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, I gave 5 stars. I actually read earlier this year and really liked it. A Heart and a Body in the World, I read earlier this year and really liked it and gave that 4 stars. And Save the Date by Morgan Matson, I read a few years ago when it came out, and I gave that 4 stars. As far as those go, I kind of understand why they were recommended for Cancers. I think the Cancer books are based a lot in feelings and, I don't want to say being sensitive, but kind of, and emotions and hardship, and like Save the Date I know is a lot about family, and so is The Poet X. And there's elements of family in all 4 of those novels, and I know Cancers are really family oriented and they're nurturers and things like that. So it would make sense that these 4 were on this list. On top of Kayla's graphic, I also did some research myself. I took some quizzes. I know Kayla watched a lot of YouTube videos, and that's where she got her recommendations. I took quizzes and read some articles that had recommendations, so I have some of my own, but I gathered around 15 books that I could read that were recommended for Cancers in some capacity. And I'm basically going to read them, see if I like them, and kind of talk about why I think they were recommended for Cancers. So I actually started doing this a few days ago during Becca's Bookopoly-thon. Every book that I read this weekend was from the list of Cancer recommendations. So I'm going to talk about those first. If you want more information about these books or how I felt about them, you can watch my Bookopoly-thon vlog. The first book being The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I gave this 2 stars. I did not enjoy it, and I can't really tell you why this would be recommended for Cancers. I think it might have a lot to do with the fact that she's a governess. She really cares for these children, and she wants to protect them from the weird stuff that's going on in this house. And that's why she isn't talking to them about it, which kind of pissed me off the whole time, because I was like, why don't you just ask these children about what they're experiencing? And she doesn't, because she's like, oh, but that makes it real, and I have to protect their innocence. And I'm like, their innocence is gone if we're led to believe that some of the stuff they went through when these ghosts were alive. But I gave this 2 stars. I didn't really like it. It was really wordy for my taste, and didn't, like, it was spooky, but it wasn't quite spooky enough. There's not really spooky Cancer recommendations. I like mystery thrillers. It's my favorite genre, and I definitely found that there's not a lot of those on this list. But this was like the only one, and I didn't really like it because she wanted to protect and nurture these children so much that things went to shit. But yes, 2 stars. Next up, we have The Buddha in the Attic by Julie Otsuka. I gave this 3 stars. I actually really liked this. This was relatively short, but it was very good. This follows a group of Japanese picture wives. These are young women, some as young as 12, who travel from Japan to the United States to get married. And they're called picture wives because they have only ever seen pictures of their husband, and their husband has only ever seen pictures of them. Led to believe things that aren't true about their husbands, and they basically go and work on farms and as housemaids in America, mostly on the West Coast and in California. And then we follow them into World War II and their placement into Japanese American internment camps. I liked it. It has a collective we. That's the narration. It's just we. I liked it at first, and then it started to kind of throw me off. So it wasn't my favorite thing, and it definitely took away a star in my opinion. It's definitely a deeper book. It definitely touches on a lot of different experiences and different emotions. But as far as why it would be recommended for cancer, so the main reason that I found, I apparently got this recommendation from Oprah.com. I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. But the main reason they said this was a good book for cancers was because cancers are natural nurturers and care a lot about their home and making a home. And obviously this book is all about making a new home, leaving your home, finding a new one. And they say that water signs prefer, this water sign prefers to books that reflect real life.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick.
Next up, we have Are You Listening by Tillie Walden. This is a graphic novel about 2 girls who are on a road trip together. One is kind of running away and one is just going to visit family, and they encounter a very special cat and embark on this magical, weird ass road trip. I liked it. I gave it 3 stars. I thought about giving it 4 stars, but I did decide on 3. There is some spooky, weird shit going on in this, and I liked it. As far as why it was recommended for cancers, there's a lot of like familial issues talked about in here. There's a lot of like sensitive topics and pulls at your heartstrings. I feel like a lot of these books are going to deal with like sensitive topics and like emotions, just because I'm a water sign, and you know, I feel like that's where you're gonna stick those books. Last up, when I saw the title of this book, I was low-key offended, and that is Antisocial by Gillian Blake. When this was recommended to me, I was like, excuse you, are you kidding me? But I get it. I get it. Cancers are supposed to be homebodies. They're not supposed to be the most social of creatures. And I mean, I connected with this on a personal level because I do have social anxiety. I'm a Cancer with social anxiety, like what a cliche. But I understand why this was recommended as far as her social anxiety issues. This is about a girl named Anna who has social anxiety, and during winter break is dumped by her boyfriend, and while she was with her boyfriend she basically dumped all her friends, and now she has to go back to school with no friends and doesn't know what to do. And then there's a hack on their school's networking basically, and everybody's phone has been recorded for like a year, and somebody leaks all that information. I gave it 2 stars. Not my favorite, but I understand why this would be recommended as far as the antisocial themes go. I guess I should share some traits of a Cancer. So nurturing, sensitive, compassionate, self-protective, security-seeking, loving, sometimes goofy, manipulative, homebodies, moody, overly sensitive, vindictive, loyal, yeah, protective, intuitive, caring, overly sensitive, moody, vindictive. Yes, I would say I'm a quintessential Cancer, which, I mean, take that as you will. I just was like vindictive and manipulative and moody. Me. But I'm also like a Pisces rising, a Libra moon, and have a shit ton of Gemini in my chart, so I also see that a lot as well. Comment down below your big three, that would be great. Your sun, moon, and rising. That'd be really cool. Love to know. And if you connect with those. I believe a lot in astrology and the zodiac, just because I read, the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, yep. And the more I learn about other people, like I am that girl who, like, I don't ask it on like the first date, but I'm like second, third date, I'm like, what time were you born? Oh, you're an Aries? What time were you born? 8:30 in the morning? Are you sure? Are you sure? Where are you from? Hometown. Like I've been that girl who has been with a guy and been like, so guess what? Like, we have the same sun, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. And that explains why you're like the boy version of me. That's a conversation I had. I don't date Cancer men anymore. Okay, so let's get into the books that I haven't yet read. First up, we have one that I'm definitely reading. This is The Mothers by Brit Bennett. Brit Bennett also wrote The Vanishing Half, which I also have, and has been super hyped and talked about recently for good reason. Apparently it's amazing. I want to read this so bad. This is probably the first one I'm going to jump into. Next up, we have Lily and the Octopus by Stephen Rowley. Apparently this is about a dog. Like, this is about a guy whose like love of his life is his dog, and some things happen. I've heard it's really sad, so that would make sense as to why it's a Cancer book, but it's not high up on the list of things that I want to read right now, so we'll see if I get to this one. Next up, we have The Unlikely Adventures of the Shergill Sisters by Bali Kaur Jaswell. The tagline is, sometimes you have to leave home to find your roots, so that would make sense as to why it was a Cancer recommendation, because, you know, leaving home, finding roots, family, etc., etc. I don't know anything about this at all. It's not really super high up on what I want to read right now, so we'll see if I get to it, but a lot like Lily and the Octopus, I'm kind of iffy. Next up, we have The Bell Jar by Cynthia Plath. This was on the list that Kayla provided. I've heard of it, but I truly have no idea what this is about. Esther's breakdown, Esther's insanity. Okay, I'm kind of really down to read this now. This is The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. I believe this is a lot to do with home life and maybe having a rocky home life. So it would kind of make sense, you know, home, cancers, etc. This is high on my list and things I want to read. Next up we have Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. I wanted to read this a decent amount. I feel like this pretty much encompasses a Cancer question, you know, with that oversensitive but homebody aspect of like, I want to be home, but I also don't want to be left out. I don't want to go, but I don't want to be left out. Next up, we have a book that I've thought about reading a bunch, and that is City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. I believe this is historical fiction, which is something else I noticed was prominent in Cancer recommendations, was historical fiction and emotional historical fiction, if you will. I don't know too much about this, but I do kind of want to check it out. We'll see. It's kind of a chunky one, so we'll see if I get to it, but it isn't one that I have like no interest in. Next up, we have one that I know I'm going to get to, and this is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I know this follows the love story, kind of two people, and like over a span of years, and this sounds like something I might enjoy, and I've heard a lot about it, so I figured I would just read it. And then we have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Yet again, World War II historical fiction that I've heard is really going to tug on my heartstrings. I want to check it out. It's heavy. We'll see. I like historical fiction, but I also have to be in quite the mood to read historical fiction, and I don't want to say never. I haven't recently found myself in that mood all that often, but hopefully I'll check this out. And then last up, I got Challenger Deep by Neal Shusterman on audio through my library, and that I'm pretty sure is about mental health. And I believe he has like hallucinations that he's on a ship to kind of deal with his life. I believe that's what that is about, and I feel like mental health books tend to be in the recommendation list as well. But yes, those are the books. Those are the books I'm trying to read. I'm super excited. Obviously, I've got my little Cancer t-shirt on. Kayla, I don't know if it was this exact shirt. I got this off an Etsy shop. I'll link in the description. But it is like my favorite t-shirt now. I'm obsessed with it. How pretty is that? I hope we don't burn out, because this weekend I did read 4 books in 48 hours. And while they were short, sometimes that does force me into like a reading slump. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So I got the mail. and I had 3 packages, so that's exciting. So we have this one. I think I know what this is. I'm pretty sure it's not bookish, but I'm excited for it. I was right. It's from X Mondo Hair. I couldn't get the Wave Tech foam because that is sold out, but I got the Salty Sea Salt Spray and the Club Kid Dry Shampoo. Smells nice. I'm obsessed with Brad Mondo, so. Next up, we have actual book mail. So I joined a Facebook group that just sells book of the months, old ones, people don't want any more. I have a couple. I think I'm a part of other ones too. I think I'm part of a few. I figured I needed to start, if I was gonna keep buying so many books, I wanted to start buying them secondhand where I could. I got Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. I've heard good things about this, so I thought I'd buy it secondhand. I think I got it for like 10 bucks, maybe, I don't remember. And then we have an Amazon box. Trying to be sustainable and then orders from Amazon. We have Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. I have checked this out on ebook like 4 times, and I forget about ebooks that I check out, so I haven't gotten into this yet, and I was like, why don't you just buy it? You're more likely to read it. In that same order, I got Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. Kayla from Books and Lala was talking about how this was like one of her new favorite books, so I wanted it. Good morning! So, it is Tuesday, and I have already had 2 meetings, and I am taking phone calls for work the rest of the day, but I wanted to check in, provide a little bit of an update. So yesterday I didn't read much, to be honest, but I did get about 40 pages into The Mothers, and I'm already kind of obsessed with it. I love Brit Bennett's writing. It's beautiful. It's like delicious. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, you know when you're like reading a good book and the writing is so good that it almost feels like you're like eating good food? I don't know if that makes sense, but like it's just so good. It kind of reminds me of how I felt when I read Where the Crawdads Sing, because it was just such good writing. But yes, so I'm 40 pages into that. I think I'm also gonna start the audiobook of Challenger Deep today, just because I feel like I need an audiobook going for when I'm like doing things but can't read. And I just got a text message that I should have a package waiting for me, a bookish package waiting for me. I see it. It's the white paperback editions of Twilight. I am so excited for these. My Twilight editions are falling apart. I think my Breaking Dawn like doesn't have a spine anymore because I've read the crap out of them. My Twilight edition is actually the gender bent version when you flip it, so it's huge and annoying, and I want to get rid of it because I don't like the gender bent version. What is it called? Life and Death? Life and Death. But yes, all of my other, they don't match. I lost the dust jackets because back in the day, I would take the dust jackets off and like just throw them anywhere, and they would get ripped or flattened, or I would throw them away for some reason. So I don't have the dust jackets to either of my hardcover editions. So now they match, and I have pretty new editions to read. Look at that. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Oh, I really like that one. And I don't remember what the cover of this one looks like. Oh, it's the Hourglass. So I did not vlog at all yesterday. I was at work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it was a crazy, crazy busy day. It was kind of very stressful, and when I got home, I kind of just like, and just was lazy and just sat on the couch all night. But what I did do is finish The Mothers. I freaking loved this book. I gave this 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. The only reason I didn't give it a 5-star was the ending. I don't know. I felt like I wanted like 20 more pages. I don't really know what I wanted it to do, like what I wanted to happen in those 20 pages, but I felt like I wanted a little bit more. There were aspects of the ending that I wasn't obsessed with, but it was still good. This follows Nadia and Luke. It starts when Nadia is in high school and when she meets Luke, and kind of follows the both of them through the next few years in their journey. This book deals a lot with grief, the death of parents, and kind of not being loved by your parents. It deals with sexual trauma as a child. It deals heavily with abortion, and the grief and the pain that some people feel while others, you know, don't have that. The way certain issues are handled in this book is, I would say, pretty realistic to an extent. It focuses heavily on a church and a pastor's family. Luke is a pastor's son, and the different expectations that come along with that, and the kind of just church culture. Nadia's father is super involved in the church where she is not. It just talks about religion and home life and just friendship. It's huge into friendship and betrayal. There's just so many different themes, and it's just written so beautifully. I just ate this up. I absolutely love Brit Bennett's writing. I cannot wait to read The Vanishing Half, and this was a 4-star rating just because it just left a little bit to be desired. It just kind of ends, which it makes sense for this book, but I was kind of just like, I wanted a little bit more, and I think maybe I wanted more of a happy ending, but that's like that's not a thing here, which is fine. I can handle that. It's just for this, there were parts of the ending that kind of were just like, okay. As far as why this book is good for cancers, I would say because it deals so heavily with family and home life, and like there's a found family element in here. My camera died, so if my setup is totally different, that's why. As far as why this was good for cancers, because it deals so much with family life and home life and friendship and really heart-wrenching, sad topics, I kind of understand why this would be recommended. I do think this works pretty well so far as being recommended for cancer. I can see the themes and the elements in there that correspond with our traits, etc. The next book that was recommended for cancers is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I am like 40 pages into this. I think it's fine so far. It's basically about, Connell and Marianne. Marianne is like a misfit in school. Nobody really talks to her. She doesn't have any friends. And Connell is popular. He's on the soccer team and has a lot of friends. But Connell's mother is Marianne's family's cleaner, and they interact, they meet through that, but they do not speak in school. So when a sexual relationship blooms between the two of them, we follow that, and apparently we follow that for a while. This was made into a show on Hulu, I believe, and I heard really mixed things about this. Some people love this and some people really don't, and I feel like when you don't like this, there's a lot of strong feelings about this book. I don't know, I'm like 40 pages into it. It's fine. I'm not like angry. I'm not in love with it like I was The Mothers. Like, I'm not in love with Sally Rooney's writing like I am Brit Bennett's writing, but I'm not mad at it yet. Yes, I have been working all day filming virtual programming. Super fun, and I need to edit because I have a virtual program going up tomorrow. I need to edit and caption that video, so that'll be fun. Tomorrow's technically my Saturday because I actually work 8 to 5 on Saturday all day. That'll be fun. You can't see it, but I'm in my new Taylor Swift Reputation sweatpants and I'm obsessed with it. Oh, while I'm here, I thought I would update you on some bookish mail I received. I'm part of I think I mentioned this book of the month, couple book of the month Facebook groups, and I put on there that I would like a copy of The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager because I love this book. It's one of my favorite books of last year. One of my favorite thrillers, and actually usually I don't want to own my thrillers because like I don't reread them. This is one I would consider rereading because I liked it that much, to be honest. Then I picked up a copy of Wilder Girls. I read this May and maybe in April, I don't actually remember, and freaking loved it. I read it on ebook through Libby and I was obsessed with it, and everybody who says that this was not good is wrong. Like, I truly was unsure. Like, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this because a lot of people don't. This was amazing. Freaking loved it. Loved it so much I needed to own a copy of it apparently, so I own that. But the main reason I bought that was because Rory Power came out with a new book, and this is called Burn Our Bodies Down. I don't know what this is about, but I loved Wilder Girls so much that I decided I couldn't just place a hold on it in the library. No. I needed to own it. I don't even know what genre this is, to be honest. All I know is that, god dang, look at that cover. That is freaking gorgeous. But yes, that's the bookish mail I got. The non-bookish mail I got. I went to Target the other day and I came across some items, and I went and just looked online to see like what else they had, and they have this, it's a cup, it's a tumbler with a reusable straw. He's adorable. He's so cute. I need to name him. What should I name him? To be determined. Good morning. I was all excited to film and vlog and read and talk about books today, and then I woke up and I was gonna send a message to my coworker about a meeting we're supposed to have today because I thought she was supposed to go into work today, but no, I'm supposed to go into work today, so I can't talk and vlog and read really either. But I did want to update you guys quickly on where my reading is currently. So I finished Normal People on Sunday. I gave this 3 stars. This reads super quickly. I probably could have finished it in a day if I wanted to. It was okay. It's about 2 teenagers, Connell and Marianne, and they're in Ireland and they go to school together. Marianne's kind of rejected by her classmates, and Connell's Mr. Popular, and they start to hook up. And basically we then follow them throughout their college years and a little bit into adulthood of just not dealing with each other, coming in and out of each other's lives and dealing with their own traumas and personal struggles and how they kind of come out between each other. It was interesting. It was not horrible, but I understand why people were like, because I was kind of like, sometimes. It was okay. The ending really pissed me off. Originally, I was teetering between a 3 and a 4 star, and then the ending happened, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm so pissed. Miscommunication is a huge part in this. A lot of the time, their fights or their breakups are just miscommunications and misunderstandings between the two of them, and that just keeps happening throughout the book. And I was just like, oh my god, just ask him what he means. How about that? Or like, why don't you like really listen to what he means, and like, why don't you listen to what you're saying and how that might be misinterpreted? Like, it was just, that was annoying. So the ending bopped it down officially to a 3 star. And as far as how this relates to cancers or why this would be recommended to cancers, I guess it has a, like, yet again, difficult home life situations in here, and there's also aspects of trauma and mental health, but then there's a huge focus on family and friendship. My toast is ready. There's a huge focus on family and friendship and kind of, you know, finding your people and acceptance. 3 stars, it was fine. And then I started The Glass Castle, and holy shit. This book is fucking crazy. It is a memoir, and it was made into a movie with Brie Larson and Woody Harrelson like 3 years ago. And if I didn't know that this was nonfiction, I would say that there was no way in hell like this would be believable fiction. Like, it's kind of just crazy shit. But this actually happened to this woman, and when she was a child. And basically it's just about this woman's childhood, and how she grew up going from place to place because her parents were running from bill collectors, how her parents neglected her and just had like kind of insane methods of parenting. I've been enjoying it a lot, but it's also like something I have to stop every once in a while and just be like, what the actual fuck is happening? Just, it's literally insane. Like, her mother or her father drinks all their money away. Her mother just seems really selfish and like just spends frivolously when like they are starving. It just like pisses me off sometimes because it's just like such neglect and like selfishness. And yeah, I guess I can kind of see why this would be recommended to a Cancer, just because it has such a, first of all, apparently Cancers like real life stories or realistic stories, and this is perfect for that. But it also has really big home, like it's all about her family and like her home life, and it's fascinating and I've been enjoying reading it, but it's also just like, oh my god. Other than that, I started the audiobook for Challenger Deep by Neal Shusterman, and that is weird. It's definitely weird. I knew it was going to be weird. I heard what it was about and what it did. It basically deals a lot with mental illness. It's about Kalen, and he, like, we get to see his like real life, but then we also get to see this pirate ship that he basically is imagining. It's kind of like disassociation, and he's disassociating to this pirate ship where all this stuff is happening, and they're trying to find treasure and defeat monsters and things. And it has something to do with Marianas Trench. I'm about 1/3 of the way through that. I'm about 2/3 of the way to The Glass Castle and 1/3 of the way through this. I was hoping to finish both today, but I don't think that's gonna happen because I have to be at work for 9 hours, and then I'm going to see my friend for a little bit. And it's just not gonna be a good reading day. It is the second day of the reading rush, and I had high hopes. I had high hopes that I was gonna read like a shit ton this week. And now that I've looked at my schedule, I'm not sure that's gonna be possible, and that really makes me upset. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll update you later, but I probably won't because I'm gonna be fucking wrecked after work. Oh my. So, I was supposed to be at work today, but I woke up with a sore throat and a headache and just a relatively feeling. And as per my job's personal wellness check requirements, I did not pass, so I had to text my boss and let her know how I was feeling, and she told me to stay home and hopefully get better, and if I could, get tested. So we're gonna go get tested today after I have this meeting. I don't feel well. I don't think I have COVID though, but who knows? There are people who have no symptoms and don't think they have COVID and have COVID. But I thought I would update this, let you know about my fun adventures with COVID. I'm a hypochondriac, so honestly, I've thought I had COVID like 8 times at this point. I get to go get jabbed with a cotton swab or whatever. But last night I stayed up to read The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, and I finished it, and I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. The writing on this is amazing. It's just beautiful, and it has 2 excerpts from 2 of her other books, her fiction works. And that writing is beautiful. I think I just love the way she writes, like, genuinely. I think that almost like if anyone else had had these experiences as a child and tried to write about it, it would not be as beautiful and as like flowing to read. Honestly, the best part of this book is the writing. It's just fucking ridiculous. Like, fucking ridiculous. Like, the things this child had to deal with and overcome because of her parents is just crazy. And like, there's like a level of like acceptance and love at the end, and I get that, but it was just so frustrating to read about because it was just like, oh my god, just freaking take care of your children. It was hard. It was hard, but it was a really good read. As far as why this book is good for cancer, I think it's mostly just because it is so focused on home and family life, and that is such a big part of a Cancer. Today is the first day of Leo season. Technically, Cancer season is over, but I don't care. I'm extending Leo season because I want to read these books. I'm gonna try to finish them before the end of July. But yes, I am about halfway through Challenger Deep. I like it a lot. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I was at the beginning, and definitely a lot more than I thought I was going to. We'll see what the second half of the book does and how I feel about it. So good news, bad news. I probably don't have COVID, but it's gonna take 7 to 10 days to make sure. My tonsils are apparently very swollen, and while my strep test came back negative, they're still pretty sure I have strep. And then I got tested for mono by the hottest doctor I've ever seen. He was singing Dragon Tales to me. It was such a good time. Like, it was such a wonderful time. I hate blood work, but this man made it a-okay. It was great. Don't have mono, so that was good. Probably don't have COVID. They're pretty sure it's not COVID. They were like, your strep test is negative, but she's like, let me check out your throat. And she was like, oh my god. And I was like, fuck. That happens to me a lot. I don't know why. That is like the reaction doctors decide to give me. But yeah, so I got strep meds that probably won't work. And I told them that because amoxicillin doesn't work, but they said if it really doesn't work, call them and let them know. Love that for me. But I don't probably have COVID, so that's good. I look like I'm overheating. But yeah, no, good news. Probably don't have COVID. I have strep, which I get strep like 3 times a year, and I haven't had it yet this year, so like it was only a matter of time. Like, quarantine kept me safe, and the second I got back to work, they were like, haha, strep throat. Hello. So I have not filmed in over a day, and a lot, and I do mean a lot, has happened in that day. Yesterday I woke up feeling like shit because, as predicted, the amoxicillin is not doing its entire job. But I woke up to some amazing news in the form of Taylor Swift releasing a new album, and we only had like 16 hours to wait, and I needed some time to wrap my head around that fact. On top of that, it was 10 years of One Direction, so I spent a good bit of time watching old video diaries and concert clips and reliving all of my One Direction love. On top of that, I was spending time listening to old Taylor, because that's the only thing that you can do when you find out that a Taylor Swift album is on its way. You have to listen to old Taylor. But I also felt like shit. I don't know what the hell happened to me yesterday, because I took my antibiotic in the morning with some Advil after I'd eaten breakfast, had a little bit of coffee, and then like almost passed out for like an hour and a half. I felt awful. It was bad. I don't really know what happened there. I've since called the urgent care today and been like, hey, I need different antibiotics, but they haven't called me back, so I don't know if I'm getting those. But so fucking happy. I felt like shit all day yesterday until like 10 o'clock, where like the adrenaline and just like serotonin that is created by a Taylor Swift release took over my body, and I felt totally fine enough to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning listening to her album, which I am in love with. Holy fuck. I liked Lover. I liked Lover a lot. Like, I actually was considering making it my favorite album for a really long time over Red, which is saying something. Red's been my favorite album since it came out. Nothing has dethroned it. Lover almost did. I think Folklore might be dethroning Red, because it is like grown-up Red. It is amazing. It is everything. I love Betty. I love My Tears Ricochet. I love August. I love just all of them. Cardigan, The One, just all of them. All of them are so good. Ugh, it hurts me. It hurts me. Exile, oh my god, Exile. It's like Grown Up the Last Time, and it's just, oh my god, I love it so much. I have ordered 2 of the deluxe editions because I almost ordered all 8 and then convinced myself, Elisa, you do not need 8 copies of a CD when you don't even have a CD player anymore. Then, because, you know, tap myself on the back for not ordering all 8, I then got myself the So Much for Summer Love pullover because, duh. Because I've ordered nothing but Taylor Swift merch since lockdown started. No regret about that. Honestly, no, I'm gonna still talk about Taylor because, oh my god, it's so good, guys. I cried like 6 times. Illicit Affairs made me cry. Like, multiple songs made me cry, but Illicit Affairs, like, fucked me up. So did August. But, like, I was crying about exes that I have been over for a while, and it was just like, it's like, look at this godforsaken mess that you made me, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm an idiot, and crap. I also look really bad, but like, I have strep throat that is not completely cleared up. Anyway, this is a reading vlog, and this is a 6-minute clip, and I've not talked about reading at all. Fuck. So, I don't know if I've talked about this. I think I've mentioned that it's the reading rush. It's Friday now, so we're on the 5th day of the reading rush. Holy hell, I've read 3 books now? Yeah. I read The Glass Castle, 4-star, good book. That counted for my book that starts with the word the. Then I read the audiobook, I finished this yesterday, for Challenger Deep by Neil Shusterman, and I'm counting that as matches my birthstone. I was born in June, and I was trying to find a book that matched Moonstone, because like that's what's talked about on my Cancer mug, or even like Pearl, because that's what I'm more familiar with. But I didn't have one of those. I didn't have a book that I wanted to read. I didn't have a book for this video that matched that. So I googled blue alexandrite, and I found some examples of that, justify me counting this. So Challenger Deep is gonna check off for that because I want it to. I should talk about how I felt about that. I gave that 4 stars. I really liked it. I did not think it was gonna be for me because the whole pirate thing is not usually my story. Please do not chew my charger. You're gonna kill yourself. Nope. This cat. Mister. You look up here? You wanna see yourself? You wanna see yourself? Are you at all interested in that? Challenger Deep, very, very good. Once the extended metaphor started like taking form more so in like connecting to his real life, really liked it a lot more. It was not fun to make the connections, but very like, oh wow, cool to see the connections. Really liked it, 4 stars. I actually liked the ending, which I was surprised about because I really thought I was gonna hate the ending to that book, and I didn't. I took a break from listening to Taylor's album incessantly to listen to Mindy Kaling's Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me, which I didn't feel like I wasn't enjoying for most of it. It was like a solid 3-star for me for most of it, and then I started to like read reviews, and all of a sudden I was like, I agree with all of these negative reviews, like all of them. I found some of the stuff she said like weirdly problematic. I didn't laugh at all, and that's not to say like I hate saying that. I don't think Mindy Kaling and I have similar tastes in humor. Like, also, I don't like The Office. I've never liked The Office that much. I laugh intermittently, but I have never sat down to watch The Office because I'm like, I'm good. So I think that's probably a lot to do with it. I'm just not a huge fan. It was like a 3-star, and then all of a sudden I just decided it was a 2-star and that I wanted it to be over. And so I listened to it on 1.75, which is kind of a lot because she reads pretty fast, which I appreciated, to be honest. No, not for me. So as far as like why these 2 books are good for cancers, Mindy Kaling's book, I think they literally just recommended because she was born the day before me, so she's Cancer. That's it. I don't really see a lot of the like Cancer attributes in her, except for like her connection to family. Makes a lot of sense. But I wasn't a fan, and I guess the only real reason that they were like, yeah, Cancer book is because she's a Cancer. And who else was a Cancer? The hot doctor who helped me at urgent care the other day. We were talking about it because I had my t-shirt on and he was like, oh, I was born June 23rd. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, we're like talking about how he's like 30 and I'm 24. And for a split second, when he read my birth date, he thought I was like 12. And, you know, oh, wait, no, you're a full-grown woman. And I'm like, yes, I am, sir. Hi. No, he was hot. He was like flexing for me at one point. I don't know why I keep talking about this man, but it was like a great time at urgent care. I had a wonderful, lovely, I mean, everybody was lovely, but especially that man. Challenger Deep is good for Cancers because of its mental health, its friendship, its family. There's a lot of family involved. I think that's like a big thing with the whole Cancer thing. Mental health. They really like to recommend mental health books. They really like to recommend books that have heavy family themes, makes sense, or friendship themes. I get it. Do I think Caden Bosch is a Cancer? I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I couldn't tell you that, but it was a good book. It was a good book that I was not expecting to be a good book. So that was a win. So between The Mothers, The Glass Castle, and Challenger Deep, I've read some great books this week. Not 5 stars, but great books. And some not so great books. Gotten quite a few 2 stars, which is surprising for me because usually I'm pretty easy to placate, but apparently not right now. So I might pick up either The Nightingale. I think I'm gonna pick up The Nightingale. That's gonna be it for me as far as physical books and the reading rush, because there's no way I can finish that and finish another book. But just realized I talked for 15 minutes and didn't mention what Mindy Kaling's book was gonna count for me for the reading rush, and I'm cheating, and it's gonna be the first book that I touched because it's the first book that I touched today because I did have the physical copy, and I grabbed it and I hadn't touched a book prior to that, so that's what it's counting as. Happy Tuesday, friends. I haven't vlogged in 4 days. I look like shit again. What else is new? I don't vlog when I look nice. That's what I'm figuring out. If I get ready, it doesn't occur to me to pick up the camera. It does occur to me to Snapchat every guy on my phone to get attention, but this weekend I really didn't read much. I was a little busy, but on Sunday I took some time and started The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I finished this late last night. I gave this 3 stars. So, it's a heavy book. I'm gonna set that down. The reason that I gave this 3 stars is I think I had pretty high expectations that this was going to be like beautiful, beautiful writing. There's nothing wrong with the writing, but it just wasn't as beautiful as all of the reviews were leading me to believe. So there was that. I liked it. It was a good book. Basically, it's about 2 sisters living in France during World War II, and they live 2 very different experiences throughout the war. One is at home and has to deal with the German occupation and the Nazis being everywhere and living with a Nazi and stuff like that, while the other is taking a much more forward stance, I guess, or she's taking a lot more action with the resistance. So yeah, it was good. I understand why it was recommended for Cancers. I feel like historical fiction feels like a pretty suitable recommendation for Cancers. I get that. Apparently, since we like realistic books, I don't know, that's gonna like hold on to me forever. But I also get it because it's about sisters, it's about family, it's about home, and dealing with the realities of war. It's not, I gave it 3 stars mostly because I have read, I don't want to say a lot of World War II fiction. I've read a decent chunk of World War II fiction, and then there's just others I like a lot more. It just didn't hit me quite as hard as some of the other books. I mean, there is obviously horrible things that happen in this novel, as there were horrible things that happened in World War II. I don't know, the way it was written was really strange for me. Like, everybody was talking about how beautiful it was, but the way it was written for me took away from stuff that would normally make me cry. I don't know how to explain that, but like, some of the stuff in this novel is horrific, obviously, and there were moments that I know in other books that I would have gotten, I don't know if I would like cry, but I'd get a little misty at least. And like the way it was written, nothing. Like I felt heartless because I'm just reading this book like, okay, that's sad. And then I'm like, but why don't I feel sad? And I really just don't know what it was about Kristin Hannah's writing that just did not work for me. It didn't not work for me to the point where I like gave it a 2-star or anything. I would say on a normal occasion, a book like this, I would rate 4 stars, but that writing just like didn't do anything for me. And I don't know why. I don't have it with me. But I'm gonna read The Bell Jar. I'm gonna try to read The Bell Jar. I don't know why I've been avoiding it. Like I was excited to read it and now I've just avoided it at all costs. I have the physical copy and I have the audiobook. I'll do with that as I will. But I do have some work to do. We're hiring new people and I get to be a part of the hiring team for the first time ever and I'm terrified of it, but it's gonna be fine. I have to look through like 18 resumes and cover letters and questionnaires and it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of work. It's reading. Oh god. But that's what I'm doing today. Got my Starbucks, got a dirty chai. So I'm like amped. I'm feeling a lot better, by the way, even though they gave me the wrong antibiotics. I think it did do its job in the end. It just took longer. So it is Friday night, it is the last day of July, and I am trying my hardest to finish the Sugar Girl Sisters before midnight, before August, wrap up this video. So hopefully I can do that. I can update you guys, tell you my final thoughts on everything, and then be done with this challenge and I can read whatever the hell I want now. After 3 weeks of not being able to choose. I'm really ready to pick up a thriller. Like really, really ready to pick up like an honest to God decent thriller because apparently cancers don't like those. So I'm over here just like, what is it, the Gemini in me that loves mystery thrillers? Because you're not recommending me anything that I would normally pick up. So I thought I would do a super quick wrap up for all of the books that I read over the past 3 weeks while trying to read like a Cancer. Basically what I learned throughout this is that people think Cancers, which I'm obsessed with these PJs, are they not adorable? I'll link them down below. Freaking love them. Anyway, what I've learned is that all of these recommendations were either about family, home, mental health, historical fiction. Like that's like what we get. We don't get a lot of like what I actually read, which is mystery thrillers. Yeah, but yeah, mystery thrillers is what I was craving over the past 3 weeks, and I didn't get that because apparently Cancers don't like those. I guess I just don't matter. I thought I would just wrap up the 12 books I was able to read over the past 3 weeks, which isn't super impressive, but it's about 4 books a week. Pretty happy with that. So the first one was The Buddha in the Attic. I gave this 3 stars. Next up, I read The Turn of the Screw. I gave this 2 stars. Then we had Are You Listening? I gave it 3 stars. Antisocial, I gave 2 stars. The Mothers, I gave 4 stars. So good, so good. I want to reread it already. I read Normal People, 3 stars. The Glass Castle, 4 stars. Challenger Deep, 4 stars. Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me, 2 stars. The Nightingale, 3 stars. The Bell Jar, 4 stars. So good, really enjoyed that. And The Unlikely Adventures of the Sugar Girl Sisters, 3 stars. I was able to finish the audiobook. It was fine. I liked some of the stuff it did, but it didn't blow me out of the water. So, solid 3-star book. I'm really thinking I should reread The Mothers and give it another shot and see if I rate it 5 stars, because when I compare it to the other books I rated 4 stars in this video, it feels more like a 4.5 to like a 5. I don't give quarter rating, I don't give fractional ratings. if I did give fractional ratings, I would probably give the mothers like a 4.5 to probably 4.75 because it was almost perfect except for like the last 20 pages. But honestly, I had a good time doing this. I was kind of dreading it because I don't always love having no control over my reading, but I've kind of realized I really enjoyed this as long as I don't do it too often. But yes, comment down below your zodiac sign and whether you connect with it at all. I would love to know. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching this definitely very long video. Comment, like, subscribe, all the normal stuff, and I'll see you guys again super soon. Bye.